Hey guys, it's your girl K Divine coming back with another quick message. Oh, Lord have mercy. So today's message is they want to see you do well, just not better than them. And this is a hard one to deal with. It's a hard one to come to terms with because it's like, especially when we're talking about like family, like, or people who are closest to you. Like people want to see you do well. They want to see you do, get certain accomplishments, but you can't go further than them. As an example, one of my aunts. I don't know why she. Most people in my family, all the people in my family, have gone against me and have betrayed me in some way, but her specifically, she would send her son to text me and ask me like certain questions, and then he would like just then I wouldn't hear from him for like months, weeks, years. And I always used to be like, what the fuck is this? Like why is he like, because I remember when I first started my when I was getting ready to start my master's program back in 2021. um he had sent me a text message like, oh hey, what's going on? And also I'm like, oh yeah, I'm about to go back to school and get my master's. And he was asking me invasive questions like, well, who's paying for it? I said, I'm paying for it. And it's like, and since that, like, since I started like trying to get my master's, trying to move up, like at the same time I was trying to move up in my company, because the company that I was working for, I had went to do I was a manager at the time, and I decided to apply for another position in the company. And I didn't get the position, which was fine, but I had promised myself, I said, if I get this position, I will focus my time and energy on this position. I said, and if I do not receive it, I I'm going back to school and I'm going to get my master's degree. And since I didn't get it, I kept my word and I applied. I got in to a master's program, and it was good. But that's when I started really seeing like people really around me, really, that really bothered some of them. One, a lot of people that I went, that I worked with, a lot of them didn't have college degrees. A lot of them just had like, their high school diplomas, and they just been pretty much working for the last, you know, 20, 25 years, whatever. And if not more, some of the people have been working for that company for 30 plus years, which I don't know how. Anyways, that started to bother some people because it's just like, it's already bad enough for them that I do hold a bachelor's degree. I have a bachelor's degree in psychology. And so I know a little bit more in terms of like people and how people operate, than most people. And I hold that very dear to my heart because it has helped me so much, especially with doing stuff like this and being able to observe some of the things that have happened to me and analyzing them properly. And people will start to distance themselves. Like in the beginning of my journey with my master's degree, it wasn't too bad, but it was towards like I had 3 courses left. I had to stop last year because of the situation that I was in. I had to stop because I had to focus on trying to survive through what the people were trying to do to me. But I had 3 classes left to finish before I would have received my degree. And it was like the closer I got to the end, the more I started noticing people pulling away from me, people not wanting to be around me anymore, friends not speaking to me anymore. And it's because people, it's difficult for some of these people to accept the fact that you are somehow doing better than them in life. And a lot of times these people want to bring you down beneath them. So no, they can't take away the accomplishments that you already have, but if they can get you and paint you as, a bad person or someone who fell off, that's what they want. And in this, you may find that people will start plotting against you, um, in some of the weirdest ways. Like they're trying to set you up. Like it's not a coincidence when people from your past start showing up. It's not a coincidence. When, like, for instance, when your exes, some of your exes can energetically feel that that you're evolving, that you're healing, that you're getting away from them, and that's why they pop back up to see if they can, if they still have some level of control over you. It's not because they miss you. It's not because they've seen the light and they know that you're the one that they're supposed to be with. It's none of that. They just want to see if they still can have some sort of control over you. That's why sometimes if you decide to even respond to them, you guys may talk for like a day or two and then you won't hear from them for a really long time. They'll ghost you. And the only reason why they did that was just to see if they could still, if they still, you know, if you still had those feelings for them. But it's really just attachment. You're attached to them. It's a trauma bond. It's not, it was never real love. We'll get into that in a different video. But also you will find that you may have friends that masquerade around as you. So you'll have people in your life who will have you on the phone all the time. They'll come to your house regularly and talk about certain topics with you. They'll try to get your opinion on things and they'll seem like they're really interested. But really what they're doing is they're just finding ways to pretend to be you, because when you're not around, one, they tell people that they don't really like you. They tell people all of the things that they hate about you. They tell people that, you know, like, oh, she ain't nobody, that she ain't this, he ain't that, blah blah blah. That's what them people do. Everyone say hi to Tori. But then everything, like the conversations and your essence, they be masquerading as you all the time. And so sometimes when you're starting to go off and do different things in your life, you know, if you decided to go back to school or you wanted to start a business or something like that, some of them can't handle this newness in you. They can't handle it. And they'll disconnect from you in hopes that you are so focused on them not being in your life anymore that you won't be able to continue to do what it is that you set out to do. And sometimes this will also come in the form of people completely pulling back support. Because whoever this, I'm not sure who this message is for, but I know it's for somebody. Like, you know, I'm pretty sure somebody has gone through this where people have always sang your praises and they claim that they love you, and oh, this person, oh, she's so smart, oh, he's so wonderful, oh, he's so kind and loving and caring and giving. But maybe some stuff has happened and, you know, you've reevaluated some of these situations and you're like, you know what, I need to set some boundaries. And then you set those boundaries and then you start moving towards your purpose. You start moving in the direction that God is leading you to go in. And then all of a sudden these people don't like you anymore. All of a sudden they give you the evil eye, the stank face, you know. They don't want to talk to you. When they see you, they turn the other way. And you're just like, well, what happened? Like 2 weeks ago, you was singing my praises and telling me how much you loved me. And now I'm like a nobody to you. If you work a 9-to-5 job and you've been like a stellar employee for an allotted amount of time, and you know, you decide like after you've been snubbed for several promotions that you are just gonna come to work and do your job, that's when you'll probably start to experience those types of things. Because part of the reason why a lot of y'all have not been able to move up in your companies is because you have management that likes where you are. They benefit the most by keeping you bound to these types of positions because they say you're so good at your job. And it's like, and they're afraid that if you get another position or you get on the same level as them, that you're going to knock them out of their spot. And they can't have that. And a group of them will get together just to suppress you, just so that you don't have power over them. Because they know that if they were in this position, if they had the ultimate power over everyone, or if they got, because they want those positions for themselves, you know, because most people in these 9-to-5 jobs, a lot of these people who are trying to climb the ladder, you know, they start off as most people start at the bottom, right? Most people, not all. Some people do come in with that experience, but you know, everyone starts off at the bottom for the most part. They start as a regular employee, a regular agent, whatever the case may be. Then some, depending on what the type of managerial levels that you have, they may be like a supervisor or a team lead, and then they become a manager, and then, you know, like a director, and then it's like a VP, and then a top exec. Like these people, that's their goal. Like they're trying to make it through these levels. But if you want to be completely honest, a lot of these people, a lot of these people in these higher up jobs, they don't even know what they're doing. They rely heavily on you and the people that are in your team to get most of the work done. And that's why you'll see, like, they'll hand you certain tasks and you're like, why am I the only person doing this and nobody else is having to do this? Why am I? And it's because they're siphoning your energy and utilizing the work that you do and pawning it off as theirs. I can tell you for a fact that my last job, they had people who were pretending to be my friend and would tell me like, oh, well, this has been going on over here and this and that. And they knew that I always had good ideas. And I'd say, oh, well, I don't think that they should do that. I think they should do X, Y, and Z. And then all of a sudden, now what I said they should do is happening and being implemented, but I'm not getting the credit for it. They were using me for my abilities and my idea to see the bigger picture, but they didn't want to pay me for it. And at the same time, they were smearing me as some sort of villain. And they got really mad when I stopped talking to people, when I just, you know, when I was like, I don't care. Like, and I was like, let this place burn to the ground, because if y'all can't get it together on your own, if it's like you hate me so much but you need me, you know, that's really what it comes down to. For a lot of these people, it's like they claim that they don't like you, they claim that they can't stand you, but they hang on everything that you say, but they stay around you, but they watch you. They try to see how you operate, how you move, and they try to copy your essence. I had one person at my job one time, and I just happened to see him out of my peripheral vision. Like, he didn't work on our main campus, he worked in a different state. And but he was at our main campus visiting, and him and I never got along. I never liked him and he never liked me, because I don't know, when it comes down to racial things, there's certain things that some of these Caucasian people try to say to black people in offices that is just inappropriate. They think and it's like, I'm not one of those people who is going to make you feel comfortable. Like, okay, yeah, I'm not doing that. You may not understand microaggressions, but I do. And just because you don't take them seriously and you don't think they exist doesn't mean that they don't exist. So, you know, I'm one of those people that's going to call it out. And they don't, and God forbid you make certain people uncomfortable, then they oh, she's difficult, oh, I don't know, she's a problem. But, you know, I was watching him watch me and how I type on the computer. Like, I've been typing since I was really little, so I type quite fast. If you ever watch me, I type very quickly. And he was like, I saw him out of the corner of my eye, kind of like going like trying to figure out how I do it. And it's like, these people want to be just like you. They're jealous. So and a lot of these people, like I said, like they benefit from you doing well, you know? Like, okay, let's talk about like your narcissistic parents. Your narcissistic parents, you know, they love to brag on your accomplishments. They love to, you know, when you graduated from high school, they went and told, like, yeah, my baby is graduating high school and they're valedictorian, and they want to take credit for it because they live through you, because they feel like you're an extension of them and that you're not your own person. They feel like just because they fed you and clothed you and had a roof over your head, you know, throughout your life, that they somehow are responsible for the fact that you became valedictorian at your school. But it's like, no, mom, you wasn't taking them tests. You weren't studying. Quite frankly, most of them were emotionally absent from you while you were sitting over here stressing about trying to maintain these good grades. And even if you weren't, you know, the valedictorian, or you had the best grades, you know, they take those accomplishments and they try to pawn them off as their own. Like, I can say like personally, like my mother, um, she told me when I graduated from college with my bachelor's degree that graduation isn't for you, it's for the parents. That's what she told me, and I believe that. Like in my unawakened state, in my trauma bond with her, I truly believe like, oh, I'm getting this degree for my mother. It's not for me, it's for my mom. Like I truly believed that for a really long time. She has my original degree in her house right now. She took my degree and she made me a photocopy of my degree. Okay? And she has my original up because she takes that as one of her, as she has a whole little like bookshelf of like, you know, me and my sister, our like senior photos from high school and then our college diplomas. And I gave it to her again, like, because I was trauma bonded with my mom at the time. And now I'm like, I want my degree back. I might have to call my college and see if they will give me a new one because, you know, because yeah, I don't even have the photocopy anymore. I lost it when I lost everything in my whole apartment situation. Which, like I said, as things unfold, I'm gonna go into deeper. I'm gonna go deeper into that because that's a whole story. That's a whole series of story times that y'all may not be ready for, but yes, they want to see you do well. They just don't want to see you do better than them because it puts a mirror up to these people and it shows them what they could be doing, but they're choosing not to. That's why a lot of people don't like you in general. Like they don't like you. Like I remember I had an ex, and him and we used to be cool, whatever, not really, but you know, I still tried to hang on to him because I was hoping I could change him. See, you know, that delusional state. I thought I could change him. I thought I could help make him better, but people gonna have to want to change on their own. But anyways, I was getting food one day. I was out driving, and he just happened to FaceTime me, and I answered the phone, and he was asking me. This was right before I started going back to school when I was getting my master's degree. It's around the same time, and he was asking me like, oh, what you got going on, what you doing? And I told him, and he was like, you know, you're one of the only people I know who, when they say they're gonna do something, they actually do it. And that struck me kind of weird because I'm like, why don't people stick to what they say? And most of the time it's because a lot of people are just full of shit. I'm just gonna call a spade a spade. A lot of these folks out here are full of shit. And they say things to try to impress other people, but they're stagnated. They tell themselves everything in the book. They keep telling themselves like, oh, I am gonna do that, but then they talk themselves out of it. You know, they think like, oh well, I don't really have time for this, and well, it's gonna take all of this, it's time consuming, and I have to, it's like everything is time consuming. The same amount of time that y'all be sitting on y'all phone scrolling on TikTok, scrolling on Facebook or whatever, that energy could be put into doing the stuff that you said you was gonna do. You know, it's like, and I just thought it was so funny that he said that to me. And then my response to him was like, well, you know, where we come from, and I'm from Flint, Michigan. I was like, well, where we come from, I said, ain't nothing handed to us. You know, I was like that the people in that city, and I'm not knocking Flint, I love y'all, but it's just like a lot of the people that I grew up with, a lot of people still live there. They're raising their children there, you know, like, because just a couple of years ago, I had visited my high school and I had ran into one of my old band directors, which she pretended like she didn't remember who I was. But she knew exactly who I was. And she was telling me that she was teaching some of the kids from people who I went to school, like people from, you know, that were a couple years older than me. But she was like, yeah, I got those kids in my band classes now. And I was just like, wow, time really does fly. But then I realized, I was like, dang, all of them are still here? Nobody left? And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with people, you know, staying near their family and stuff like that, but there are quite a few people who never really go outside of their comfort zones, you know. They they date and marry people from their hometown. They have kids in their hometown. They stay in their hometown. They live and work in their hometown, and they never really leave. And so they don't really get that outside experience. And this is all they've ever known. And maybe they did have bigger dreams, but maybe they were too afraid to do it. Maybe they couldn't afford to do it. It really just depends. But for me, I never was taking none of those as excuses. I was never going to be like, well, Flint is all I know. And well, people in my city don't do stuff like that. Like, I don't care what the people in my city, I don't care what else them other people are doing. I'm worried about me. Like, I'm worried about what I'm doing. That's why most of y'all, if you still live in your hometown, you're not going to be able to stay there. Those people are going to resent you and hate you. And if they don't resent you and hate you, which they secretly will, they may not show it on their face, they'll resent you and hate you, but they'll also want to feed off of you. A lot of those people will start trying to come back in your life when they see that you're doing well. When you get your money up, they'll start trying to come around and be around you because they know that they can benefit off of you. But them people not trying to grow with you. That's the problem. That's the problem. Those people are not trying to grow with you. And they're not going to like you because they'll interpret your growth as you thinking that you're better. And it's just like, I don't think that I'm better. I just wanted more for myself. And you do deserve more. Like, don't ever tell yourself that, well, I can't do that. Yes, you can. It may, and I think because of the technology age that we live in, a lot of people expect results really quickly from things. Like, people who see other TikTok creators or other YouTube influencers, and they assume that the person who has 1 million followers, that just happened overnight. And for some people, some of the people bought their followers, some people had had help, but a lot of people who have thriving platforms, they started from the bottom and they worked their way up. They kept working at it. They kept improving. They started with what they could, and then as they whatever was going on in their life, whatever blessings came along, they had more subscribers, they got more followers, one of their videos or some sort of content went viral, and then that was a spike. So good for those people. But unfortunately, there's a lot of people who want to have it all, but they don't want to work for it. Like, there's a lot of people in this world who truly believe that the things that they want should be handed to them. That's why some of y'all are, like, I've said this multiple times, like, a lot of y'all are not going to be able to work those 9-to-5 jobs for long. A lot of those people who are like, in this rat race trying to climb to the top levels, a lot of those people want to be handed those situations. Like, they want those positions, but they don't truly want to have any real work behind them. And honestly, that's all a politics game anyways. The only way that you're probably going to make it to the top in a lot of those companies is if you are really close with some of the bosses. Because I can say from my previous job, it was like a boys club for the most part. And they would come in and not do nothing, really. They would be talking about nonsense all day. Kissing each other's asses, trying to, get stuff done, tearing each other down, but also helping each other. And it was really weird. But they gate kept jobs. They would not put out certain, like, they had some of the directors that wouldn't post certain positions because they already knew who was going to get it. So they didn't even give other people opportunities to go for it because they had already decided what they wanted to do. So, and at a certain point, I just stopped caring because I was like, I already know what's up with this. And I was like, these people don't want me in here anyways, because they were always going to shut down my ideas. I was one of the only Black employees, one of the only Black women in this group. So it's like, I'm the anomaly out of the group. There's nothing you can really do about it too. And then I have all of these ideas of making things more fair and things of that nature. And they didn't want fairness. That's not what they wanted. They wanted to make things harder for other people so they could sit back and relax. And that's what they was doing to me the entire time. And I'm pretty sure that when I left, I'm pretty sure things went to hell. I'm more than positive about that, because I mean, I may have said this in another video, but I saw that some of them were coming to look for me before I left the area, and they were mad that I wasn't interacting with them, because I was like, I'm not coming back and I'm not speaking to any of them, especially after the things that they said about me, and the things that they did to me. I refuse to come back to that type of nonsense. No. I will not engage and fraternize with the enemy. It's like hearing Mike Jones. Back then they did want me, now hot they all over me. I think I had that reference in another video too, but like, not for real. Like, people really don't see how valuable you are until you're gone. When you remove your presence, that's when people start realizing just how precious having you around is. And it's not your problem that people can't see your true value until you leave. That's on them. And because if they couldn't treat you right the first time, I can guarantee you they can't, if they couldn't handle you back then, oh, they definitely can't handle you now. Because now you have boundaries. Now you talk different. Now you walk different. Now your presence is even more, you're gonna make them even more uncomfortable, especially if you have like that silent power that you just being there is gonna like irritate people's demons even more, especially if these are the type of people who are working so hard to try to destroy you, and now they have to sit back and look at how you became better because of it. That's a hard pill to swallow. Like, if that's not karma in itself, to have to eat the words that you said, because you got to understand, a lot of these people been going around telling people that you are not going to be anything, and that, oh, well, they're a failure and all this other stuff, but they're just they're trying to diminish you so that they could build themselves up. But those things are going to always be short-lived. Because the truth is that you're not a failure. Even if you didn't do well, or even if you struggled in the beginning to get certain things off the ground, or maybe something that you were trying to do didn't work out, that doesn't make you a failure at all. Just because something didn't work out doesn't mean that you're just this stupid person. No, everybody makes mistakes. Everything doesn't work out the way that we want to sometimes, and sometimes we just have to pivot, or we just have to lay something down and say, you know what, this was not what I thought it was going to be. It didn't work out. And then, you take your time to grieve over the process and what happened in it, and then you pick yourself up and you move back and you move on. And people hate that, because a lot of people see, like, when they what they consider a fall, when something didn't work out for you, they consider that a fall. And then they laugh at you like, oh, this person just couldn't make it. This person couldn't cut it. But it's like, most of these people, the things that you have been through, the silent battles that you have had to face, they could have never. These people live their lives based on very surface level bullshit. And they can't go deep within themselves and tell them, and heal from the inside. Most of them people are incapable of doing that. Why? Because healing would require them to be immensely honest with themselves. And most people, they live their life based on illusions. A lot of people tell themselves like, oh, well, I can't do this, or I can't do that because, well, that's just never worked for me. Like, people who, for instance, I'm just going to use my 600-pound life for instance. If you ever watch that show, a lot of the patients on that show, they'll all say the same things. Like, well, it's hard for me to lose weight because, because like, well, I love eating, or like, well, I've tried all these different diets and they've never worked for me. Or like, Dr. Now will give them the diet plan, which I'm not a big fan of it, but I guess at their size, it may be better for them. I don't know. 1,200 calories really just ain't nothing. That's really nothing. I don't recommend 1,200 calories for anybody. But he'll give them this diet plan and tell them, and his book tells you everything that you should eat and things that you shouldn't eat. And then, the ones that come back after whatever month, he'll give you 2 months to lose 50 pounds or something. And really, that's, for people at 600 pounds, that's literally nothing. It's literally nothing. They could lose that in 1 month. They really should come back 100 pounds lighter if they follow that diet exactly. But they'll come back and they'll have gained weight, and they'll all say things like, well, I followed the diet like you said. And like, oh well, this is water weight. And they make all of these excuses, and it's like, it's because they want to hold on to the lies that those are lies that they tell themselves when they know that they have not changed anything. Or they say, I've changed, like the ones that get really upset say, I've changed a lot, I've done a lot of work. And it's like, they haven't done. And it's like, the at least the portions that a lot of like the producers that they show us, they'll show them eating a whole pizza, you know. And it's just like, well, if they're eating a pizza, you know, this day, because some say like it's really hard to let go of the cravings, which I totally understand. You know, as a person who's lost about 60 pounds, like I get it. Like I totally understand trying to get rid of cravings. Like it's not easy. But it's like these people they have a food addiction, and a lot of them are in denial to the point where they don't even notice how much they're actually eating. Which is why when they go back in front of the doctor, they know that they haven't been following the diet. They know that they're in trouble. And instead of taking responsibility to be like, you know what, doc, I really just didn't care and I couldn't control myself and I didn't lose any weight. They can't do that because it feels better for them to deny it and say like, no, I ate salads and I ate just what you told me to eat, but it's not my fault I gained. I don't know how that's possible. They all say the same thing. Every single time that one of them does, they either gain weight or they only lost like 10 or 20 pounds, they'll say, I don't understand how that's possible. And I'd be cracking up because I'm like, you know exactly how that's possible. Like, you may have made some changes, but you didn't make enough changes. You know, you're still overeating, you know. So it's just, you know, that's just a quick example. But like I'm saying, like, a lot of these people live their lives based on the lies that they tell them. They tell themselves that they're happy. They tell themselves, like, oh, yeah, like, well, I have the house, I have the kids, I have the husband, I have the car, I have the wife, I have the watch, you know, I have the money in my bank. Like, yeah, I'm happy, but deep down inside, them people are miserable. They're miserable, and they hate to see you that even if you're not where you want to be, even if you don't have all the money that you want to have, they hate that you're happy. They hate that you find joy and that you find peace in small things. Like, even just like today, I just happened to be looking out the windows, and there was a group of geese, and it's like the baby geese, they're now like in that teenage stage where they're not quite babies anymore, but they're not quite adults. And I just happened to I just had to watch them because they were just so cute. And it was a big group of them too. I'm glad I was behind the glass though, because geese are very aggressive and I just like to look at them. I don't want to be close to them, but it's cool. But they were so cute, and it's just like, I find joy in small things like that. I find joy in, you know, in animals. Like, that's why I have my cat with me, like, and I refuse to give her up. Like, unless there's a reason why I gotta live in my car, like, unless if that happens, then that's the only time I'd have to do it, because I don't she would not survive she would not survive like that. It's different if you have a dog. Having a cat, no. But I pray to God I don't have to have those issues. But, you know, like, that's why I have my cat with me. She brings me a lot of good healing energy. Cats purring, that has like a healing effect. Y'all Google that if you like cats. They have to me, they're very special. Especially, you know, if you look at their history. But they just don't want to see you do better than y'all. They don't want to see you do better than them. They want to keep you at a certain level. They want to keep you at arm's length, and your success to them is their failure and downfall. And it's sad that they see those things that way, because it's like they could have benefited from your success. Because, I mean, I'm sure that a lot of y'all, when you think about it, because I'm sure that a lot of y'all are going through these phases where friends are falling off, families falling off, you're having to disconnect from people because they're being disrespectful to you for no reason. They're jealous of your progress. They don't like, they're like, oh, you reading a lot now, like over small stuff that you're just like, you're mad because I'm reading a book. You're mad because I don't want to party with you guys. You're mad because I don't want to come to this function anymore. You're mad because you're mad because I see through the illusions and I don't care to participate in it. They're mad at that because they could be doing the same thing. But like I said earlier, like, they're not going to want to grow with you. You could try to take them with you, but I promise you, If these people have already betrayed you, if you try to reconcile, they gonna take you for everything you got. And if they tried to kill you, this is their second opportunity or third, however many times they try to kill you. They gonna try to make this time the last time. They will kill you, they will sabotage you, they will frame you, have you in jail, and steal everything from you. Like, you cannot trust these people. Once they show you who they are, believe them. Believe them. But that was my message for today, guys. Hopefully, it's Sunday, so my baby's coming with me, and I got some stuff going on this week, so I'm not sure, but I'm not sure what this week is gonna bring me. Spirit has really been guiding me to like rest a lot. Because even like I went out earlier and I felt kind of dizzy and lightheaded, and I was just like, where is this coming from? So it's like stuff is shifting and changing. I know I've been talking about a shift happening for a really long time, but there are things happening, and I'm sure things are happening for you guys too. So you guys definitely take your rest. Hopefully I can come up with a couple more messages in the beginning of this week. Definitely the back end of the week I'll be uploading some more content. But until next time, I'll see you guys later. It's your girl K Divine. I love you guys. Bye.